Yes. Last time I spoke about what is going on in the energy sector in Nigeria. Today I am going to talk about solution. Yes, solution. You know, we call them NEPA. The federal government did unbundle that sector. At some point, the name was changed to PACN, but Nigerians no agree. We still call them NEPA. As far as we are concerned, they remain NEPA. That name has come to stay. Now they talk of Transcorp, they talk of Gencos, and they talk of Transcos and Gencos and Discos. The average Nigerian still calls them NEPA. So if I say NEPA, you should know I'm talking about the same people, whether Discos or Transcos or Gencos. I'm talking about NEPA. I talked about the former minister Nedu Nebo, who once said the reason that the power sector is not electricity is not working in Nigeria is because there are witches in the system. Yes, that's a parable. Indeed, there are witches. He was saying that there are some unseen hands that are bent on making sure that electricity does not work in Nigeria. If I were to be president today, this is what I will do. First, I mentioned it in my last video that never will a non-engineer be the minister of power in Nigeria. Why do I say so? The reason your mechanic can easily cheat you is because technically you don't know how your car works. He can tell you something else is the fault, whereas it is not. If you want to handle a ministry that is science-based, the head of that ministry should be an engineer. Even if he will have other qualifications in finance or in business, he has to be, first of all, an engineer. A square peg in a square hole, and not a square peg in a round hole. That is a very sensitive position that nobody should occupy that seat based on political patronage. Yes, he's a member of my party. Yes, he helped me during the election. No. And there is need for continuity in that sector. So, if I were the president, this is one of the things I will do. I will form a think tank group of former ministers right from the inception of this current democracy, right from the time of Olusegun Obasanjo. I will bring all the ministers together to form a think tank committee. That committee will share their different experiences. That committee will discuss the problems they encounter. If there's any conspiracy in the system, if there's any third hand that is making sure the system does not work, by the time these ministers begin to exchange ideas, it will be discovered. There is need for continuity in that sector. I grew up as a child to meet the epileptic situation in the power sector. Now I'm an old man. Am I going to die like this, leaving my children in the same situation? It is very, very sad. We cannot continue to do the same thing and expect a change. So we have to do something new. Let this think tank committee be formed. One. Secondly, the National Assembly should pass a special law that will specialize the energy sector such that the Minister of Power should outlive the democratic government. His tenure should be like 15 years or 20 years, so that there can be continuity. If indeed there are conspirators within the system, the longevity of the minister in power will bring out revelations. So we need continuity in the sector. If a new government comes up and he's appointing his cabinet, let the very sound minister of power remain. We once had a Bert Energy, the owner of Geometrics, that is turning Aba to something else now. Even though he's in the private sector, it is unbelievable that Bert Energy was once the minister of power. How he was booted out of that office is a story for another day. That is the kind of man who should be the minister of power, not somebody who used to be a deputy governor of the CBN. No. We need a core scientist to head that ministry. A core scientist who will understand how the system works without having to depend on advisors. Because even advisors can be manipulated so that they will manipulate the minister. As far as I'm concerned, the Tinubu administration is still joking. It's joking with the energy sector. Increasing tariff. A good president should be able to make some unpopular decisions. But if you must make unpopular decisions, you have to do so with caution. Bravery without caution is impoverishment of the people. It's good to be brave, but you have to be cautious. It's good to take brave decisions, but you must calculate. You must think of the consequences of those decisions and then put measures in place to absorb the shock that might come up. You can't continue to, worsen the people's standard of living, and then you continue to tell them to have hope. You should be smarter than that. So, my solution: the Minister of Power must be an engineer. Form a think tank committee of all the former ministers. Promulgate a law that will elongate the tenure of the Minister of Power. Thank you.